Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult themes.
Damn right.
What the fuck?
Oh, I heard that show got canceled, but you're awesome for remembering it, Jenny. It's in the ash heap. But
Well-
out of the ashes, the What the Fuck show, but out of the ashes comes the three of us today, triumphantly. I didn't even say it right. God, I need more sleep in my life.
I didn't know there was such a show.
Yeah, it was a flash in the pan. You guys want to see something cool, though? Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. I worked hard.
Yeah, I'm up for show and tell.
Ooh, look at
Ooh,
that.
look at those squares.
So you got a camera mounted in the ceiling now.
Well, I had to. I'm gonna switch it back because I'm not ready yet. I kind of that's a little pre-cum right there. I'm not ready to show off yet.
Can I give you a suggestion?
What's that?
If that cutting pad is going to be your primary work area, zoom in more.
The camera only has one angle. It's a cheap camera. I gotta mess around with the camera. That's why I am not necessarily fully prepared. It was an impulse buy, and I'm like, it showed up at my house, and I'm like, oh yeah. But I need this space because I'm sewing an American flag, and I want to show what I'm doing just to piss people off.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, right now there's a lot of people who need to be pissed off.
I have always wanted to make one of those.
Yeah, February, of course, is supposed to be Black History Month. I've titled this Band History Month because so far 14 states have pushed legislation to try and prevent people from teaching accurate history because it makes white people uncomfortable.
It makes some white people uncomfortable.
I need to smoke before my blood pressure just shoots through this computer. I don't, unfortunately, some people had to live these horrific things that people don't want to see. And I always bring this up for a reason. When I got online, I was not prepared for people who were Holocaust deniers, who would say the Atlantic slave trade didn't happen. I was not prepared for these people. We need to teach history so that our children do not forget. There's a reason why people say never forget. If you go to Israel, they're still saying that,
Well, there's a meme going around that is really so honest. It's not funny. That says the people who don't want to learn about critical race theory is because they're afraid of people finding out how they feel.
I said at a board meeting, they mistakenly let me speak second to last. And after I said what I had to say, I was like, if there was ever proof that we needed critical race theory, take a look around in this room. And everybody was like, ooh, and they were doing the peanut gallery thing. 17 people walked up and said, I don't want my child to be taught critical race theory. Every single board member asked them, do you know what critical race theory is?
Yep.
And the answer was no.
No, if you're ignorance is angry. Ignorance is always ready to get their pitchforks and their, and their torches, but they're not there for facts. I say this all the time about wannabes. Again, like it's no shocker. I have a tendency to date dudes every once in a while. It was weird to me how many people came in the LGBTI, I can't say it, in the community and then hated gay people. I think we live in an era of sentiment and saying, oh, those people over there, we gave them a month. Let's do this. Like, don't treat people like shit. How about that? Oh, how's it going, Ox? I just noticed the chat. Let me get off my high horse. Let me put my soapbox away. And this is my birthday month, so it's William History Month as well.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear William. Happy birthday to you.
Well, he sets his birthday month, so you gotta sing it really slow to draw it out.
I'll just do it every show from now till the end of the month.
What's up, buddy? Oh, this might be dirty. Let me.
Hey, Mark. See who else we got in the side chat.
Okay. Enjoy your life. Don't burn the house down.
Yep. We've got Mage Grey Wolf.
Okay.
Krabby Hermit. Commander 401. Ox. And Mark Caesar so far.
Hi, kids.
Although, again, there's obviously some other people lurking. Because YouTube says we've got 12 people here.
I used to lurk back in the day. It's intimidating sometimes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with lurking if people just want to listen and not make their presence known.
When I first started getting involved with the community, I was very intimidated by some of the flat earthers. They, without actually listening to their information in a critical way, but just listening to it and accepting it at face value. I said, geez, these people are so smart. They know so much. And then to find out that they don't know a damn thing. So I actually started whipping out the old books and rereading them and say, wait a minute, you guys, you're ignoring some important things. But at first I was intimidated. You do a good rap and people will believe you.
It's all about confidence, If you go up there, you talk like the auctioneer, people will do whatever you tell them to,
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely found that's true. That, I can make up utter bullshit, but if you seem confident in saying it, most people will believe it.
That's how I con people all the time with my weird things that I say.
Public speaking is intimidating, but a lot of people aren't ready for it. I was raised around two public speakers. My parents were always going to events and speaking, so I was never necessarily nervous about talking in public. But some people, hey, Jenna.
I can do it if it's a subject I feel is important.
Oh, most definitely. I'm not going to go up there and talk about the Herculaneum period and make myself look like an idiot, Of course. If you want to talk about bobbins and crankcases and stuff like that, I'm your man. But like my dad worked for Rocketdyne and NASA, and he was not an astrophysicist. He was an engineer, but he would go around to schools giving speeches about space. So if you're informed and you have an idea about it,
Yep.
It's different than a flat earther going up to the lake by my house and declaring the Earth's flat because their stupid rocket didn't go off.
Or shouting at children across the fence in a playground.
What's really funny? Like where I live, you would get dragged for and a grown adult would be like, hey, they would like try to make contact with you. Like, hey, dummy, what are you doing? Why are you yelling at children?
I would definitely have had a problem with that, of just an adult being out there without any kids trying to engage the kids.
Even nowadays, if someone's at the park and they seem to not have a child, someone will ask them, like, what are you doing here? If someone was to walk up with a camera, someone would do the same thing. Like, hey, what are you doing? I felt last weekend, I felt weird walking around with my camera in thrift stores. And, no one said a word to me. But I made sure I didn't show anyone's faces or anything,
Okay, I think this is a question that's going to take both of you to answer.
Depends
How
on
many
the size
bobbins to fill a crankcase.
They're not
what size bobbin?
Nerdy. It depends. I want to get a leather machine from the 1800s, and those have a huge bobbin. Speaking of which, I still have not found. Funny thing, in this room are parts to hundreds of sewing machines, singers I do not even own. I still have not found one simple little bobbin for that sewing machine, but my whole house has got cleaned. I've been to my storage unit and I've cleaned this entire room.
Why don't you just make a bobbin?
I'm going to buy it. No, that's a 1950s. That's like a 1949, 1952 model. So it came with a specific bobbin because that's back when Singer was still in competition with itself and other brands.
Yeah, I've never understood why there are so many different bobbins for all the sewing machines when they're all essentially the same. They just, slightly different so they don't fit.
So in the modern ones, they're more universal. So in a modern sewing machine, you could get any, you could get one from Walmart and throw it right in your machine, But back in the day, Singer was in competition, like I said, with itself, and they would make different models every year. Just they would make it a little bit different every year. And they literally had a buyback program from the 40s to the 60s where they would buy back your sewing machine to smash it or to harvest the parts.
Yep. Well, mostly it was to break them up because otherwise they couldn't sell new machines. They didn't want the old ones being resold.
And now we just make things to break. So we don't have that problem.
I remember the very first automatic coffee pot I bought, like Mr. Coffee type thing.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I had maybe a year or so, and the heating element for the brew stopped. It gave up. It died. There was no visible reason why it did, but it's a heating element, and that happens. So I decided I'd go a new one and take the thing apart and put it in. And I called a appliance repair place in town, and I explained the situation, and the guy just started laughing. He says, "You can't get parts for any of that crap." He said, "That's made to be thrown out."
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't even waste your time trying, unless you know somebody at the factory who will take it off the line and give it to you. It was pretty disappointing. It made me really mad because all I saw was all these resources and materials that are now going to waste for the lack of one silly part.
Oh, absolutely. I feel the same way. That's my whole Sanford and Son platform of stop wasting stuff. That is quite literally my whole platform. It drives me crazy how wasteful we are as a species in general. And having traveled to a few foreign countries, it's not just us. Let's just put it that way. We are. I used to always jokingly say, and to the pedantic, I know that we're great apes. I used to always jokingly say that we're trash monkeys. Because what are we producing? What are we? As a species, we are our type is trash monkey.
No, we're apes.
I know. I said to the pedantic. I came with a disclaimer. Damn it! I came with a disclaimer. Disclaimer. See, that's why you can't tell jokes around the pedantic. I said the trash monkey thing around the construction guys, and they damn near spit out their cigarettes.
No, but it's true that just they don't make anything to be repaired anymore.
No, you don't. Like even my car. I have a Ford Flex. I can't work on that. I have 2 Ford trucks, man. I could take them apart and put them back together, and they run just to the day I got them. My Flex, I have no idea.
Well, it's no different than an old carbureted car. Okay,
but it has.
You can't work on the fuel injection because you don't have all the test equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
But everything else on the car is just like any other old car. Things haven't changed.
I'm just scared to touch the because there's huge boxes for all the computers in it.
Well, yeah, and that's the stuff that you can't fix. I can't fix it, and I was in the business. But everything else you can.
That's
you
good.
just
no,
be careful.
I'm like the real life tool time because my father was an electrical engineer and could fix anything. I think I can, and sometimes I end up getting electrocuted.
Oh well, then maybe it's best that you not.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like an electric car and they got 600 volts running through that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm good. I'm cocky with anything except for plumbing and electricity. I know my limits. I know my limits.
I can do anything in the house. The only things I don't work on is the heating and air conditioning. And that's more because you need a lot of specialized tools rather than it's something I can't do.
True.
So I just never invested in that tool set.
I think that's part of the problem too, is that I have my father's tools, and there's stuff that I have that I don't even know what it is. He has test equipment. I look at it and I'm like, man, I should have finished college.
Hey, if you ever want to get together and we can put some of that stuff on the air and I'll tell you what it is.
I'll show you one right now. Give me a second.
Of course, he's going to pick something I end up not knowing what it is.
I have a good enough range that I could do most things on the car, but I can't troubleshoot cars. If you tell me what's wrong, I can swap out components, but I can't really troubleshoot them.
And that's okay. You know, if you got a good diagnosis and you know what parts you really have to replace, you can still save yourself a whole shitload of money.
Yeah, my biggest problem here is I don't have a place I can take it apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had a nice heated garage. I really miss that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I could deal with it being without heat, but it's just, you know, the building won't let me do it in the parking lot here. You can't do it on the street.
So this room is deceptively large and it's bigger on the inside. I have 9 rollaway toolboxes in here, and
Jesus,
3 double stacks. I randomly just grab stuff out of one of my dad's old rollaways. I honestly, okay, what's this?
Okay, let me make you bigger.
Bring it closer. Yeah, okay, hold on. Lower it a little bit so I can see the top of it. Lower, more. No, lower. I can only see the bottom. I only see half that circle.
Oh.
Lower. Sperry.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the end of the cables look like?
One's blue, red, white, and blue. God bless America.
Oh, so those are just alligator clips.
Also, and like I said, this one I keep in my closet. I'm such a child. I'm a grown man. Keep that in mind. But this looks like BMO from Adventure Time. If anyone watches Adventure Time, but this looks like the original Game Boy.
Oh, that's a an oscilloscope. That's a digital oscilloscope.
Like I said, it looks like BMO.
If you don't want that, you can mail it to me. I'll use it.
I knew you were gonna say.
When that thing was new, it probably ran $2,800 to $3,000.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't get rid of any of this.
Today you get them for about $400 or $500.
Okay, Commander 401 is saying that first one looks like it had something to do with checking 3-phase power.
That sounds like something my dad would be doing.
Yeah, if you're hooking up, heavier machinery.
Because later
machinery that's running on 220.
Ooh, and these are cool. I have hundreds of.
Oh yeah, that's just an ammeter for clipping on a line and reading the amperage.
I have hundreds and hundreds of meters. Let's see if I still have my phone in here. This is cool because I can tap into any old school line.
Oh sure.
This is like an actual thing that the phone company carries around.
Yep.
But because we have a phone system at the ranch, like this is actually relevant in my life. Like I have to do troubleshooting with this. So I actually know how to use this. But we haven't had a problem in a long time. Oh yeah, I got all kinds of stuff that I don't even know what it is because my father was an electrical engineer,
Sure.
And he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stuff that I'm just like, I've been going through a lot of stuff because he has old Dell computers that are obsolete, and I have 2 boxes of cables and components,
My most favorite tool that I have, because nobody who looks at it has any clue whatsoever, including people in the business, of what it is. It's this aluminum thing that's about 6-7 inches long. It's a cylinder, and it has an exit hole on one side and an exit hole on the other. So it seems as though the tube is hollow, but you can't tell because there's screens and stuff in the way. So if you look in the hole, you can't really see what's inside or not inside.
Ox is saying that first one was a 3-phase sequence tester.
That seems about right. That seems about right. My
that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So Jenny,
Ox is a smart guy, and you hook it up to 120 pounds pressure compressed air, and air goes into it and blows out the two exits. On one exit, the air is very, very warm. It's just plain hot. If you keep it on your skin too long, it will burn you, maybe even 2nd-degree burns. And the other side is frigid cold. There are no moving parts. and it cost about $135-$140 when I bought it. And nobody knows what it is. They have no clue what it does. And when I plug it into air, people just go, "How does it do that?"
Yeah, you got me.
That is my middle name.
It does it just by either compressing or decompressing the density of the air going through it. When you compress air, it heats. When you decompress it, it cools. And so by machining it with certain structures, usually step-shaped things with venturis, for feeding the air in, they will have that kind of effect.
Well, what's its purpose?
Its purpose is to take temperature-based sensors and to get them to the temperature you need for testing. Or if you have an item or a system that you think is problematic when it gets hot or when it gets cold, you can simulate the environment, that kind of thing. Or you can just have it and show it to people and say, "What is this?"
Are you ready, Jenny?
Sure.
Creation, an engineer's view on science and the Bible. The following narrative was forwarded by hold on. Oh, why do they? Okay, so this is my one beef with this guy. So those for the unindoctrinated, I picked this up in beautiful Ventura, California on my last trip when I got that sewing machine. And my biggest beef with most Christians in general, the first page where this man is addressing people, he instantly goes in on atheists and how terrible they are. Get over yourself, okay? You can exist with people not believing in your sky daddy, your concierge Jesus. It's okay.
I love that.
It bothers me. That's what people. Oh, Jesus, will you please make this light turn red? That's a concierge. That's not a deity. Get over yourself. You're constantly. Oh, Jesus, will you make this girl take me to the Sadie Hawkins dance? Go F yourself. It's not real. You can see how much I love creationists.
Well, and why does an all-powerful God need people to protect him from people talking down to him?
Man, I'm old school. If you have to have someone speak for you, you're kind of a weakling. Like, especially when it comes to eternity. Just saying, like, because sometimes people would be like, "Will, why are you so serious about this?" I'm like, you guys are talking about life or death, literally, I just don't know. Am I wrong? Was there a war on atheism 30 years ago? Like there is now?
Oh, it's been ongoing.
Put that one back up. Put that one back up.
Okay. Commander 401 apparently has used the thing you were saying that blows hot and cold air.
Well, that might be a good idea. I never used it on the wheel itself, but there was times when I was like making a part and grinding it by hand where it's, it got hot and burned your fingers. So I'd have the thing nearby to cool the part down rapidly because I didn't want to dip it in water. Water and grinding is no fun.
Well, if you're in a spa, that's a great Saturday night. Just saying. And that's from flat out personal experience.
No, it's a different grinding.
Do you know? So funny story. When I first got on the internet, I laugh at myself now, but I remember asking myself the question, "What's Grindr?" Do you know what Grindr is, Jenny? You don't know what Grindr is?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. I didn't know, and I'll never forget my eyes opened up when I typed in Grindr in my search engine.
Surprise.
Oops. The internet opened up all kinds of worlds that I don't necessarily, I was either a part of them or never knew.
Yeah, that is true. I've learned a lot of things since the internet started that I had no clue or never wanted to.
just to keep it on the not so dirty side, like young earth creationists and all that. I'm still kind of like, you exist. I look at them like a Betamax, like, around? Like, you're still around. It's just weird to me. And the funny thing is that makes me laugh the most about this creation thing is the guy is a young earther and he has a picture of the globe on the front of his thesis. And he doesn't say the earth is flat, but he says the Bible's 100% correct.
Okay, well, most of the young earth people are not flat earthers.
I've recently met somebody who is. And
yeah,
so
some
I
of them are,
conflated the two.
Some of them are, but I don't think like Ken Ham or Kent Hovind go with the flat earth. They just think that it's only 6,000 years old because they added up a list of names. And it's like, yeah, that's a real reliable way to figure out the age of something, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm 40 again because I say so.
Well, see, in order for that to work with adding up the list of names of who begat who, don't you have to know what age they were when they had each of their kids?
And that's also the assumption that they knew how to count and that they had the same sense of time that we did. And
well,
really quick,
that's easy to say, but remember, they in that period of time they were able to build the pyramids. So they knew something about mathematics.
No, but I'm saying also though the average life was like 40 years old. So their sense of time would be different than I'm not saying no, I think we're dumb compared to them. Tell you the honest truth. I think we've digressed. But my whole point is like we live longer than them, like quite literally double. Not all of us. So what we call an old person not necessarily would be like I would be considered old.
Oh yeah, in the last 150 years, we've effectively doubled the human life expectancy.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're 40. You're like the wise old owl,"
Well, quite literally, anybody who was over 40 was considered an elder of the community.
And now it's Generation Man-Child, and I'm a part of it. No, but I agree with you. My whole point is we the way we look at time and the way they look at time might have been something that's different. I just feel old, nerdy. I just feel old.
Yeah. Well, and Holy Spackle has a point, that they probably just counted, the number of seasons that had passed.
And also the point about we live longer because of having antibiotics. That is so true that you can go back and look at the Earth's population before and after, and the numbers are unreal. Before and after the invention of penicillin.
Well, okay, that certainly has something to do with it. But while the doctors get all the credit for it, Our longer life expectancy actually has just as much to do with the sewer engineers. The fact that we are no longer walking in streets of our own filth and animal shit.
Oh, so you think there's a problem with that, huh?
Well, I think it does tend to reduce your life expectancy, especially when your kids are playing in it. I think it tends to rather increase the child mortality rate quite a bit.
You're just too conservative.
That's like when we... Oh, you reminded me of when we had that medieval plague in downtown Los Angeles. The conditions that got so bad. The medieval lifespan of adulthood was 55.
Yeah, Mage. So what you're saying is that Jenny and I would be dead by now.
And I would be the town elder. I would live in the woods. I wouldn't be near anyone. Be that weird guy. Mirrodin.
All right, which one of you stole my foundation primer, huh?
I don't think you could use the same color as me, Jenny.
No, this is just the primer. Just the primer.
Get us both canceled.
I got a date tonight, so
awesome.
Trying to get ready.
In a pinch, I can use bleached flour.
Fuck. Where did it go? See, now this wouldn't happen if I had myself a vanity, but... So if you're out there and you have a spare vanity and you'd like to take it apart and ship it to me, just let me know. I'll give you an address.
What about, like, I have a little kids one, because for some weird reason on Amazon, I think my mom didn't know what she was doing, but for about a year, every time my mom ordered something, she would get 2 of them.
How come?
I still, to this day, I went through her computer and everything, and they never overcharged her. And I tested it on quite a few things. But for like a year, every time she ordered something, and she ordered something for my niece, it's a child's vanity. And I have this humongous box in my rafters because my mom there's no room in her garage. Well, in the rafters, because she parks in her garage. But my whole point is I have a child's vanity.
Actually, while Nerdy's making a joke of this, the Romans actually did have an evaporative refrigerator that was made out of ceramic pots that they could pack ice around it and actually make ice cream.
Oh, the Romans were awesome. Well, and as long as you weren't opposed against the Romans. So I finally finished Charlie Sheen.
As long as you weren't some hippie freak saying you were king of the Jews, huh?
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, that'll still get you beat up. I don't know about crucified, but if you ran around here screaming that, people will fight you. I need to get my patches. I don't know why this took so long, but I finally finished my Hillbilly Charlie Sheen on plaid. Ooh, I love this angle. And this patch right here is 25 years old, and I'm surprised it's still around. I got this in Portland, Oregon 100 years ago. And it's all old and faded.
Charlie Sheen, huh?
Have you ever seen the movie Major League?
Uh-huh.
California Penal League, 1991. So, yeah, that's going to start fights around here. There's a lot of people that actually hate Charlie Sheen.
I don't hate him. I just don't respect him.
Yeah, no, I just don't really have an opinion of him. I don't care one way or the other.
He got exposed for being a playboy, and he took that to the moon. he utterly and completely took that to the moon. Because when's the last time you heard anything bad about Emilio Estevez?
I can't remember ever hearing anything bad.
Exactly, because he minds his own business. What about Martin Sheen? His father and brother, like, they're just as lit. They go to parties and have fun, but they don't advertise it like what's his name? Like Charlie Sheen does. And Johnny Depp is the same way. Johnny Depp actually has quite a negative reputation here in Los Angeles. Like, local business owners are like, Johnny Depp and his friends are not allowed in here. I actually, because I worked in Hollywood in the restaurant industry, there's quite a few rappers I dislike, quite a few actors, because they think because they're famous, they can treat people like trash or trash a restaurant.
Yeah. I just don't pay enough attention to celebrities to really have an opinion on most of them.
I'm gonna go get my patch box. Oh, I have my other patch box.
Well, I do, because they're so important to me. You know, if Kevin Sorbo, you know, isn't happy, I'm not happy. It's just the way life is, you know.
Okay, so when did Kevin Sorbo come back into prominence? Is it because he's a crazy Trumper denier of everything?
Well, he is that, yeah.
But is it because of Twitter? Because his movies are crap. That Pure Flix is, if you've watched Pure Flix, they make fun of Mexicans so much. I don't even know why anyone of any Hispanic background would have any self-respect to doing any movie for those people. Kevin Sorbo is pretty pathetic in my eye.
Yeah, but they can always find some sellouts if they're offering enough money.
These another one. I'm embracing the NFT art he's painting and whatnot stuff I find. I'm not saying Johnny Depp is a bad person or anything like that. It's just I own a small business, and it's not okay for some, like, if Jenny came in and trashed my business, I'd call the cops on her.
Well, now, why would I want to do that?
No, but I'm saying, like, there was this one time I worked at a sandwich shop 20 years ago, and this actor who will remain nameless came in, and him and all of his friends, they left all their wrappers and papers and everything on a giant ball on the floor or on the table, and they literally spilled their sodas on top of it on purpose.
Well, that's pretty lowbrow.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not that rare either. Well, that is, but like, people, at least it's the Hollywood thing where people think they're better than people. Oh, here's a Heathen patch if you want to start fights. Ooh. I make my own patches. I forgot I made that.
Oh.
I'm just not a fan of people who think they're better than people just because of what they do. Like, life has humbled me, you know, so I don't walk around thinking I'm better than people. Even if I am.
Well, I think that's pretty good philosophy for everybody. And just, you know, humility is better than some big fat ego that's bouncing off everybody.
I just don't see a point in pointing at, like, oh, how much better you are to people. And there's a saying, like, when you, what is it? Like, claiming excellence means you have to constantly prove it, or something in that realm. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm great. You have to constantly show that you're great.
I think Mark's got a lot of celebrities, you know, they need to see their name in the media, and they don't really care if it's good or bad as long as they got their name.
Oh, especially around here. Like, oh, what's his name?
You know, like W.C. Fields said, you know, I don't care what they say about me as long as they spell my name right.
Ooh, the bi flag. Is that upside down? I don't even know. Steve-O, I don't like Steve-O, the jackass guy, because when he lived in Hollywood, he literally terrorized his building. Do you have any embroidery sewing? Yes, I do, Mark. I have 2 embroidery machines because I'm crazy. And I'm thinking
Spackle, I will have you on here and I will have a discussion with you about that, because I was pagan for 25 years. And in all that time, the pagans I knew didn't have any problem with including atheists under being heathens. So I think, if anything, this whole dispute may just come down to a regional thing.
absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you, because I've been wearing a heathen patch for a while, like no one will really say anything unless you're a biker or on Twitter. I need my other.
Well, and even if the pagans want to try and claim exclusive use of it, it's never going to happen, because the Christians are going to still lump anyone who's not Christian together as being heathens. So when the majority of people are going to be using the word differently, you're not really going to be able to claim it.
Wasn't that the original definition was anyone who wasn't Catholic?
What, a heathen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, I think the original definition was simply country dweller. That was anyone who lived outside the city.
It's an interesting discussion to be had, because I personally feel like language is dead and a lot of things don't have meaning anymore. So I don't fight over pedantic meanings anymore, because I could go across my town and find a different meaning to what people think it is to live here, or what the word Los Angeles means, pick anything.
That doesn't mean it's dead. That means it's actually quite alive, and it's flexible.
Yeah,
language evolves.
But if I can't communicate with you, then language is dead. And I'm saying this more on less of the like arguing with TERFs, arguing with racists, arguing with people like that. Like, to me, I don't see a point in it, because they're just gonna talk over you no matter what you say.
Well, those are people who are trying to steal a term and distort it for their own purposes. That's just not language evolving. That's language being abused.
Exactly. It's just it bothers me. Or someone will know the meaning of what someone was trying to say, and they purposely misconstrue it. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't even have time to have a conversation like that. Heathen is like atheist. The word is bigger than the meaning. Heathen is simply. I agree, because again, like Posey Parker is an atheist. Dave Chappelle.
God, what a hateful woman she is.
Oh, she's a piece of shit. Yep. Dave Chappelle is like, atheist is just a term. David Silverman, I didn't know he existed until Twitter came around. Is he an like everybody, a lot of people I know are atheists. Doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you less of an a-hole. And yes, I'm the guy who buys the Slay and Kissy patches from the 99-cent store. I do. I love them.
Mark Caesar was asking if you had an embroidery machine, so apparently he missed that episode.
Yeah, I have multiple. Now I have 2, because the funny thing is, I still have yet to identify who has sent me that machine.
Well, from doing so many fundraisers, it has come to my attention that we have 3 quite generous people in our community who choose to continue to remain anonymous. Absolutely. But on several fundraisers, when it's come down to the last couple hours, we've had people who have anonymously donated like more than $200 at times.
That's crazy. And whoever sent me the machine, thank you.
Yeah,
I use it all the time.
Even from my moving fund, I got an anonymous donation of $250.
And holy spackle, I collect most of these. I go to stores because in LA we still have patch shops, but like I go to concerts too. I used to before 2012. Like these two patches I got from actual shows in Portland, Oregon. But I don't travel anymore because of COVID. Rum Rebellion, good band, and the Hungry Girls. Shout out to no-name bands from good old Oregon. Ooh, Black Label Society head. That's actually a huge patch. It's the size of my hand, almost. Oh, Bud Dry. Why ask why? Drink Bud Dry. Good old Huntington Beach, California. That's a huge patch. Hey, Jyuni. Very slowly, very slowly. Oh, and I used to make these. I got semi-Instagram famous. If you go on Instagram and you type in crappy patch, you'll see all my old artwork. Exactly, Holy Spackle. It's all it is if you believe in deities or not.
Yeah. Yeah, atheist is only one question. It says nothing about your position on anything else.
I won't even lie though, when I find people who are extremely close-minded and I'm like, you're an atheist, it is kind of shocking to me.
Hey, Jyuni.
Jyuni.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, a lot of people do have the perception that atheists are, for whatever reason, horrible people, and it really surprises them when they find out somebody that they, you know, think of as being a good person turns out to be an atheist.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Doc. There's a lot of people.
Well, it's not so bad being considered a terrible person. You know,
should I pick up the
listen to the
robocall?
turfs calling every trans person on the planet a pedophile.
Hello?
Yeah.
Those people need some back alley justice.
Ugh. Okay, so Jenny, you actually brought up something that really, really pisses me off because there's a small YouTuber I watch that recently was accused of being a pedo because she followed back somebody who followed her. I do that. I do that on YouTube. I do that on Twitter. I do that on everything. If I look at someone's page, half the time I won't even lie on Twitter. I don't even look. I just follow back. You know, like they're turfs are drowning in their own bullshit, and it's a crappy argument.
Well, on Twitter, a lot of times, you know, I'll follow people just because they posted something I found interesting. I don't really look them up.
Hey, buddy, you want to show off your hat or what? All right.
You know, and I never really thought about it, but, you know, I'm sure I'm following some kids just because, you know, if I see something, if somebody's showing off something cool they made out of Lego, I'm likely to follow them.
I'm I was looking at my Twitter. I'm following a bunch of like young 20-year-olds from New York who make their own clothes. They all one by one liked my stuff and I just followed them all back. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm actually learning different styles from them because they're from a different generation.
Well, the only reason I don't like that is because of how people respond if you do that, like what you were just talking about, the trouble you got into. I mean, I know why I follow this or that turf because I want to see what the enemy's up to.
Oh, I do that. I do that too.
But some people look at that and say, whoa, well, then you're a traitor. You listen to that. It's like, you know, grow up.
You have to know, like I listen to the opposite side sometimes more than my side because I know how I feel, and you're not gonna change me. You're not gonna I'm not gonna jump ship, you know. So what Jyuni is saying at the bottom right there is true. This is the new turf argument that if you follow someone back, you're a pedo, and it just it boils my blood. And the one thing about the internet is that if you don't like somebody, you have to go looking for that person. It's not like they're your next door neighbor where you could scream F you over the fence. You have to go looking for them to tell them that you don't like them. You know? So this new age stuff it's the term they stalk people to tell them they don't like them. Yeah.
Actually, there was an atheist channel I followed. Elijah Davros. You know, put out some pretty sharp stuff. Went quiet a year or so ago. You know, haven't heard anything. But yeah, actually, I found out that when I started following his channel, apparently he was only about 16 because he just graduated high school, like, you know, just before he went quiet, like a year ago.
There's quite a few people I used to watch. I won't say their name because they've gone a little bit insane, but there was someone I used to watch and I was like, oh, they're like 18 years old. I didn't realize it, but they've gone crazy.
And also Nigglebots, you know, who did the other version of my avatar. I think he's actually still in high school. I don't think he's graduated yet. You know, but you know, I forget exactly what the conversation was that we started talking, but you know, I helped him out with some equipment he needed.
Just so you never get yourself in the position of having to say, but Judge, I thought she was 18. You know,
or having Chris Hansen. Is it Chris Hansen tell you to have a seat?
Yeah, I think so.
Have a seat. No, he's a scumbag himself. Chris Hansen. The internet proved how much of a scumbag that guy is.
Oh, Chris Hansen?
Just he needed some cables and adapters, and I've got, you know, have a whole box of those kind of things. So
he promised to put Omnision in prison, and it was a bunch of fluff. And in America, you have to have proof. You can't just say, oh, this person's a pedo. And guess what? Omnision is a weirdo. He's not innocent. Come at me, you weirdo. But I'm just saying, like, you can't just accuse somebody of something. You actually have to have proof. And what's his name is not in jail. So Chris Hansen was stalking. He went to his house. If that happened here, like, I don't know how I would have reacted, you know? So Chris Hansen he believed his own hype too much.
Well, unfortunately, there's still a lot of that, you know, a lot of that rhetoric goes around. You know, that people will make these things. I mean, politicians are pitching it all the time, how they're going to put their opponents in jail, and on the right, that really sells. And yeah, nobody ever follows up on it. But
well, Donald Trump
it's still the way they get votes.
Donald Trump proved, because I heard Hillary Clinton say it one time, and it's true. There's some law where you can't go to jail for certain legislation. Like Hillary Clinton cannot go to jail for Benghazi. She can't. Get your head out of your ass. You know. But no matter how many times Trump says it, people think that you can. But there's a literal law where you can't put politicians in jail for making decisions. You know.
Yeah.
Because then no politician would ever make a decision.
Well, Trump sure as hell would be in prison if that wasn't the case.
That's what I'm saying. So, you know, there's a lot of fairy tales that go around. I haven't decided which patch I'm going to put on here. The problem with this shirt is that I'm going to wear it all the time, and then one day I'm going to get industrial bleach on it and be mad I ruined one of my good patches.
Okay, well, you're getting advice on the color of thread to use.
Ox, I'm a time traveler right now. You're talking to me. I'm in 1985 right now.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I expect Will always sews things on. I don't think you use the adhesive.
No, I don't, because I'm fickle in the sense where I one day I might want to take that patch off. I'm always changing my designs. Like I have this jacket I'm wearing right now, I've switched the front at least, I don't know, 15, 20 times over the years.
Well, and the adhesives just aren't as reliable. You always tend to get the things, lifting up around the edges at some point.
And like this Bud Dry patch is a perfect example. Like, when was Bud Dry popular? 80s, 90s?
I have no idea. I hate beer.
I remember the commercials, but I grew up watching sports.
When was what popular?
Bud Dry. Why ask why? Drink Bud Dry.
I thought you were saying butt.
Oh, butts have never gone out of style, Jenny, ever. And if butts do go out of style, I'm moving to the moon. No, the reason I asked that is because this adhesive on here is evaporated away on this patch. And so even a patch from 20, 30 years ago, the integrity of it wears over time. That's such a good question, Mage Grey Wolf. Does Bud Dry still even exist?
I don't think so.
I don't know if I want to put this skull here, but I'm not necessarily gonna.
Hey, would you have the confidence to wear a Bud Light patch?
Yes, I actually have one in here, Mark. Where is it? But I have a question though. What does a Bud Light patch mean in Australia? Because like in America, it means that you're kind of. Where's my other one? A Bud Light patch is you're kind of country. Or it's like very stereotypical Hispanic here too. But I think I have a Bud Light patch in here. Oh, here we go. This is another ancient patch. I'm an archaeologist.
Oh, Ox says it was discontinued in 2010.
Oh, great commercial. Great commercial. That's like with the Budweiser frogs back in the day. But yeah, Mark Caesar, I would totally rock a Bud Light patch.
I don't know. I still like the Foster's commercials, but Truth in Advertising, they've got to redo them.
Do you know what's really funny?
Foster's. It's Australian for Americans are gullible dumb fucks.
Exactly what I in no way do I condone underage drinking. When I was younger, I was hooked on Foster's. I loved the bitter Foster's that comes in a green can. And you know what's funny? People in Australia have no idea what I'm talking about because it's only made here. Foster's was awesome back in the day. So it just makes me laugh at Australia. I was so disappointed when I found out that Australians do not drink Foster's beer.
Who makes Foster's then?
Alexa, who makes Foster's beer?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Moneen.com, since 1991, Foster's is brewed and distributed by the Holsten Brewery in Germany.
Germans, Holsten Brewery.
I wouldn't have been surprised to find out it was Budweiser.
I'm actually shocked that it wasn't some heartless American company, to tell you the honest truth.
Well, I mean, Budweiser has just bought up so many brands over the last several decades.
Oh, heck yeah, they have. Heck yeah, they have.
And they don't care at all about the recipes. They just want the names on the labels.
Do you have microbrews? Oh, that's a good question, Ox. Because, like, you know, I'm sure where Ox lives too, but here in Cali, it's the land of microbrews. And yes, Jenny, we know you live in Minnesota. And there's a nuke about to go off where one of you two live.
Well, Jenny used to live in Milwaukee, and you know that's definitely really the American home of beer.
Exactly.
Yeah, now it went bust.
Oh, that sucks. Purple, is that a warning horn or whatever?
No, that's over by me.
Oh, okay.
I'm unfortunately I'm a half block away from it.
Holy cow, that's loud.
Although, actually, when you mention it, I'm surprised it's not going off here because, yeah, it's 1 o'clock, first Wednesday of the month.
Commander 401, people make pot beer around here. You could definitely get pot beer. You can get pot anything here in California. But yeah, they mix marijuana with everything now. See, that's exactly.
There it goes. They're just a couple minutes late.
Different time zone.
It's just weird to me because, like, in America, a lot of people drink Budweiser and Bud Light. When I lived in Mexico, you couldn't find a Bud Light or a Budweiser.
I thought a Bud Light was just the lamps you used for growing marijuana.
I'll be back. I have to go pee.
I haven't had a drink in a very long time, and I considered Bud Light to be almost insulting because it was so watered down. Because I would drink whiskey and use beer as a chaser.
I just never had a taste for beer. I just, you know, even as a teenager when it's supposed to be cool and that, I just was always, this stuff tastes like crap. Why do you want to drink it? You know, I like whiskey. I like select wines.
But it's kind of, excuse me, it's kind of like smoking. Have you ever smoked a cigarette?
Yeah.
Do you think it's
like that either?
Exactly. I miss the taste of cigarettes. You know, but I haven't, you know, I can't smoke cigarettes. I quit almost 4 years ago. But my whole point is it's one of those things, it's a weird acquired taste. But I grew up around smokers. I think sometimes I like going to casinos because it just smells like booze and nicotine. It reminds me of the 80s.
Yeah. Around here, they just test the sirens the first Wednesday of every month. Mostly they're used for tornado warnings more than anything else.
Hey, Slim.
Although, before I moved to New York, where I was living,
hi kids,
was like 40 miles from the nuclear power plant. And after we moved in there, yeah, we got a welcome packet explaining to us what to do in the case of the nuclear power plant having a meltdown.
Oh, welcome to the neighborhood. You might die.
I like it. Yeah.
Apparently, everyone within a 50-mile radius of the nuclear power plant got that anytime anyone new moved into the area.
We never got one of those. I lived pretty close to the Perry nuclear power plant.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the name or not. It's on the Lake Erie shore. And when there was an earthquake that was centered near that area, they were a little bit concerned. Yes, they were.
Yeah, it's
hey, Slim, jump in if you want to.
We had a crack at our nuclear power plant, San Onofre, and they didn't tell us until a year and a half later after they fixed it.
Oops.
They're like, because people were like, why is the ocean so hot in this one spot? They had to admit, they're like, oh, we fixed this 1.5 years ago.
Many power plants are near a body of water and use it for cooling purposes, whether it's a nuke or not.
Well, yeah.
Oh, San Onofre is on the ocean. It's literally named after the beach it's on. So the San Onofre nuclear power plant is in San Onofre, California.
Okay. Now,
if they can position it where there's, a large source of water, the construction is actually a bit cheaper for making the cooling ponds.
That's like Fukushima. Fukushima is right on the ocean as well.
Right, which is why it got inundated.
I watched a really cool documentary about it, and Scientific America, they go back every year and they show the progression.
Yeah, the one here is actually a bit of an oddity. It's in Monticello, Minnesota. So it's not on a lake or anything like that. It's not on a lake or a river. And we have a kitty complaining.
I know.
Yeah, she's looking for some companionship.
She's looking to get fucked, huh?
That's what it was. I know that sound.
Yeah, I know that sound too. I make it every night.
You said it first, Jenny. You said it first. I drive around screaming that out in my car. Meow.
I want video or it didn't happen.
Oh no, you can get shot around here. Yeah, if you yell at hookers, you can get beat up in LA. You get beat up. Leave people alone.
There we go. Hi, Slim.
Hi, Slim. Oh, good time.
Okay,
up in Madison, Wisconsin. I forget if it's a nuke or if it's just a standard power plant, but they use, I think, Lake Mendota as their cooling pit. And back in the 70s, when I got certified for scuba diving, the only slot that I had available was winter diving. And they had it at the lake with in the area of the exhaust, the water cooling exhaust, and it's actually fairly warm.
Yeah,
there was no ice there on the surface, and it was almost like not ice diving.
Yeah.
Oh my ice diving. That's got to be pretty crazy. I take it you go down with a safety line so you can find a damn hole to get back out?
Only if you're smart.
Uh-huh.
One of my great uncles was an Olympic swimming contender.
Oh.
And yeah, he used to chop a hole in the ice and go swimming to, keep in shape in the off season.
To someone from the West.
He did not do any such thing with a line or that. He just figured he'd be able to find his way out.
Yeah, well.
To a West Coaster, jumping in ice sounds insane. Like voluntarily jumping into a body of water that's covered in ice.
Yeah, just me and the
it's not that
Navy, and
bad.
it's no big deal.
It not only sounds insane, it is insane.
I'm officially a member of the Polar Bear Club in Milwaukee because I jumped into Lake Michigan on January 1st.
That's insane to me. I've been
nutball.
I've been to a
remember the lake can never be colder than 32.
Oh.
Oh my! Actually, aren't there some conditions where it could get a bit under?
Yeah, there are. I'm just teasing.
Well, actually,
Okay.
fresh water, you're pretty safe about that. Ocean water is a different situation because depending on how saline it is, it can actually get pretty close to zero without freezing.
Yeah,
if there's enough salt in it.
The higher the osmolality, the lower the freezing point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And as I understand it, I probably have the science mixed up here, but I know I've heard discussions about Lake Michigan water temperatures, and at the bottom of it in the winter it is below 32. I don't know how low, but it's unusual because it's not frozen on the bottom. but it's still
I don't
that
know.
cold.
I suppose it could be, at the bottom, with more pressure.
That's what I was
That
thinking.
could help keep it liquid at a lower temperature.
Yeah, maybe the lakes do. The big lakes do this inversion thing every year, where the all the water that's on the surface rotates with the water that's on the bottom, and it's just some kind of weird phenomenon that happens. I don't know. I don't understand the science of it, but I heard it talked about all my life.
Remember my nephew did the polar bear plunge this year in Lake Michigan.
I used to do that in the Boy Scouts. Get up at like 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. You jump into the water in the winter and you do a lap, get back out. But everybody remember that salt in water is just unicorn farts.
I will write that down.
If you talk to Sleeping Warrior, when he was doing the egg test, he said that the salt that he puts in the water could be unicorn farts. That's all that he knows.
Okay. Hey, Jeff.
Caio Corosto?
Somebody's got an angry pussy.
Oh, okay. I see you. Oh, I'm trying to get everything put together. Well, I've got some news.
What?
If everything stays as it is and nothing goes pear-shaped, I will be getting this stupid catheter out on the 14th.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
And that means that I will be able to take a real shower, that I will be able to wash my own hair. That'll be beautiful. I like that.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I can imagine that must have been a huge pain.
Some of us take for granted things like that, so it's wonderful that you're going to be able to get back to living somewhat of a normal, life like that.
When the highlight of your life is the ability to take a shower, you're in some pretty bad shape.
Well, and I understand the thing about not being able to take a proper shower just because I've been in the situations of not having running water.
Okay.
And just having to do the sponge bath with a bucket because that's all the water you could get.
Yep.
I've been there.
Oh, God, I know
that. When you live in the mountains, that's pretty much what you got to do most of the time because you don't have running hot water. You have to heat it up and then take a pseudo shower or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, was just how much I could heat with the tea kettle.
Now, this thing, it's a port that goes through the wall of my chest and right above my heart. And they don't want it getting wet because then it's liable to infection. And that could really, really send things down the drain.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But so far, so good with the stuff. And we'll just see how things go. It's been 7 months since I've been able to take a real shower. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Well, all of us will keep our vagina lips and our testicles crossed that everything goes well.
There you go.
What did you say?
I said all of us will keep our...
Jenny, you didn't watch Cookie McSweet Tits yesterday?
No.
I did while I was making dinner.
Crossing your testicles sounds very painful.
Oh, super.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. But what we say nowadays is, for good luck, we keep our vagina lips and our testicles crossed for your luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mark, when I've had to do it, it was strictly self-service.
Me too, honey. Oh, that's something different. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, Mark, you'd love LA. For a price, you can get all kinds of sponge baths and massages and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, but the idea is not exactly getting clean.
Are there bathhouses in California still?
Tons, but I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Because of COVID and gentrification, they're cleaning up a lot of the old neighborhoods. Like, Slim, you've been to Hollywood, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you remember old school Hollywood with all the video booths?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, they got rid of all of them. except for
Oh
one.
my.
And like Hollywood was a safe place for gay people to go, and it's kind of been gentrified, and so now it's for more like the rich yuppie, and it's still LGBTQIA plus friendly. It's still one of the gayest places on earth, but you have to pay to play now. You have to be rich to be down there.
I don't know if any of the bathhouses in Denver are open. There was 3 of them that I knew of. I don't know if they are, but
we had one left in downtown LA, and I think it might remain permanently closed because of COVID.
Okay.
When I worked at the porn store here in Greeley, we had the booths in the back, the video booths, and then I had 2 glory holes connecting different booths. So I had to deal with cleaning up that. That was not fun, but you know what? I like that people could go in and do what they wanted as their kink. You know, like I don't like the kink shame. But yeah, I don't know if those are still open. I'll have to like research and see if they have that, because I'm pretty sure they had to shut those down, right? I mean,
yeah, I expect a lot of places will have used COVID as the excuse to shut them down, and just will make sure that they can't reopen them again.
Probably, yeah, because
oh, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
That's kind of what the town wanted, was to shut it down anyways. They didn't really want them there, but the governor from the next town over would always come and have sex with gentlemen in that booth. And so I knew whenever I knew who the governor was. We weren't supposed to say anything. So every once in a while he'd come in and you're like, "Hi, buddy." And he'd go in the back and he'd have this, a gentleman follow him in a couple minutes later. And you could see in the cameras which booth everybody goes into. So that was really interesting to know that fact.
Oh man, I miss those places. What America got really conservative in the past 20 years. Even more conservative than we already were.
I know. It's not, I mean, at the time, well, there are 4 fetish dungeons down in Denver that I know of right now. So we still have a couple dungeons to go to. So, but it's like RSVP only, and you have to like, like talk to them before, say how many people are coming, and you have to pay for the cleanup and stuff like that now. And
what? That's
it's
crazy.
not as much fun. Yeah, it's like $20 or something like that. But they have one of their pets come through and wipe everything down afterward, even if you clean up, just to make sure. And
yeah,
so at least we have those happening. And then I want to say on the 25th of this. No, that's another event I'm doing. Soon during this month, we're having another kink event. So we're having a fetish event down in Denver, which I was told is going to have 2,000 people. So we're hoping that, and we're hoping that we can do most of our performances as well, because biohazard is a big thing now. So, and cross-contamination. So we have to watch what we do. Although my boss told me last night that he bought one of those like blow up balls that people like get inside of and like get crowd surfed, or you put on the water and you like walk on them. So we're going to be able to do a fetish performance inside of that in the middle of the audience without spraying biohazard or getting it on people. So it's going to be like a firsthand experience, which we haven't had in a long time, being right in the crowd.
That's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I guess there's some musician, a singer, and when he's playing, he gets in the ball and he'll roll out on the audience and he'll go be in there most of the time, and that's the way he feels safe enough to be with the audience.
That's cool.
And how can I say no to people playing with my balls in public? I mean, playing with a ball that I'm in. I mean, never mind.
There we go, yeah.
See, that goes back to my rant where in LA, you can't play with your balls in public anymore because the yuppies took over.
Yeah, not anymore.
We like even Griffith Park. There was a whole side of Griffith Park that was just men cruising each other.
Yeah.
They got rid of that, and you know what? And I'm going to say some hard stuff, but it was a safe dogging spot. And when you make these places unsafe, people start doing crazy stuff. Hey, it's Maud.
Fuck you.
I love that fucking show. I still watch it.
That's the major problem with stuff like this. The further you push it underground or make it so that it's not in the public's eye, the more people can take advantage of those situations.
Oh yeah,
You know,
you get some seedy weirdo out in the woods where everybody was safe in the park.
Yeah, well, now you'll have a serial killer pop out of these things. You know what I'm saying?
True. Oh,
They'll
so true.
be able to find these people to take advantage of. They're not in the enough light, or they're not in these places that are public enough. They're going to get online and tell people to meet them in weird places. I mean, we're going to see a rise in serial killers.
That's another thing. That's such a good point, Slim. Like the bathhouse that I would go to, it was on the top of a high rise. It was lit. It had security guards. So no one could just wander in there. Like if you were in the parking lot, you were in there for a reason, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of times you knew there was a camera somewhere. So you're like,
everywhere.
Even though it's like anonymous, I know that I'm still on camera, so I can't, you feel safe. You feel safer when it's more public. When it's more legal, things are, never mind. We'll talk more.
I'm trying to scare people. Look up the Grinder killer in UK. I don't do online dating after I watched that.
Well, there's the Facebook killer that did the same thing. There's a handful of every dating app, or every app pretty much has a serial killer tied to it that used it to get people, get prey.
Huh, they never caught me.
I mean, how do you think I got all my sister wives? No, I'm just kidding.
That show jumped the shark. That's why I'm just old and prude now. All the fun stuff has been gentrified here in LA.
That is so weird because I remember how grungy and dirty downtown LA was, and how many raves we put on in like the Oriental District and like all these different places, like downtown Pasadena and Pomona were like sketchy at night, and like we used to put on huge raves there. Are they
Pasadena
still?
Not as much. No, Pasadena.
But
Pomona, dude, man, you putting your life in your hands going to Pomona.
Oh, we used to put on such huge raves there. Oh, it was so awesome. But yeah,
I go to they still have NASCAR races there. I go once a year to Pomona.
Minneapolis used to have, some adult bookstores that had video booths and that. I don't know if they've got any around anymore. It's not something I've, looked at since like the 90s.
It's just one of those things where I moved away from Los Angeles. I was gone for almost 8 or 9 years. And when I came back, like all of LA had changed. When I lived in downtown LA, there was nothing but homeless people selling fake cigarettes. And like Slim said, some of the greatest shows I've ever seen were in some of the scariest places you've ever been in your life. Because I'm obsessed with going to punk shows. I'm obsessed with punk bands. But they've completely gentrified Los Angeles. Downtown LA, people are paying millions of dollars to live in old warehouses, to live in lofts that overlook downtown LA. And one of the reasons we have such a homeless problem is because people were centralized downtown. The cops told everyone, get out of downtown. Well, they spread all throughout the city now. It's bad. Have you ever been to a place called I Love LA or heard of a place called I Love LA, Slim?
I don't think so.
I didn't know it was a place.
It's a seedy venue where I've seen some of the greatest punk shows, but then I was there one time and we're rocking out and my friend grabs me and he's like, just watch this. The LAPD raided a show while we were there.
Oh,
it was nuts. It was surreal.
One time we were going to this rave, and you know how you like call a phone number and you go to a record store and you pick up a directions from them after you pay.
Oh yeah.
And then you like go there and there'd be another checkpoint and you go to another place. So we lived in San Diego at the time, and we drove all the way to LA to go to a record store. We got the directions, and then we're driving, and all of a sudden, we just realized it's like gun store, liquor store, tax store, you know, to you know, get your check filled out, bails, bondmen, you know, in a row. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, we're in Compton.
Yep.
What?
Compton.
So,
That place is
so we parked our car, right? Like a couple streets down from the venue. We went in, we started partying, and all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, the police are here, everybody's got to leave. We're like, what? So what I do is I grab my friends and I try to be the first people out because they're not the ones who get picked up by the cops. It's the last people out.
so true. So true.
So what I did is we were the first 4 people out, and yeah, I know seeing me with clothes is so wrong. I know. But it is freezing out here. It's snowing outside. So yeah, it's cold here. But anyways, we're the first 4 people out. And as soon as we get out, because we're in Compton, all of the cops outside had riot gear on. They have shields, they have AK-47s, they have flashlights, they have like, so we get outside and like I start dropping to the ground and put my hands up, and the cops are like, get over, move, don't sit, you know, don't sit up. And so I grab my friends and we just like go out of the way and we just start walking down the street and we're just like, did we just see cops in riot gear for a rave? What the hell? But we were in Compton, so of course
we jokingly call it the Rodney King rule, but they don't go to the hood unless they have 8 cars.
Yeah, no, I
with two people in it each. You
At
know?
least, yeah, no, for sure.
So it's not rare. Like you'll be sitting there and an army of cops will show up because they will never show up with just 2 cops ever. Because like recently I was on a road in South LA behind a cop and people were throwing 40 bottles at the cop car. Recently.
Yeah.
Like full open beer bottles, you know.
Well, what I didn't know at the time was we were in like one of the gangsters like member houses.
Wow.
You know what they did is they just like you know, it was a warehouse they had. They just moved all their like product out of it and they put a rave on in there, you know, to make money off of the kids pretty much. So we didn't know, but I found out later that's what happened. And that's why of course they don't show up in the area without riot gear pretty much. But yeah, that's what we found out later.
Here in LA in general though, like see it's different. Like the LAPD, they got busted a while ago. They're nice. They're nice compared to the sheriffs. Like we go heads up with the sheriffs here. We get in fist fights with the sheriffs. Like it's not rare for a sheriff to walk up to someone and hit them with a flashlight and get back in their car, you know? So we're not necessarily nice to the sheriffs. The LAPD, at least they try. At least they try.
Yeah.
But nowhere in America would they be able to blatantly get away with the things that they do than here because they have such a majority. We have more sheriffs here than other countries have people in their army.
That is crazy.
Yeah, they got defunded and they're complaining about it. It's crazy times in LA right now. I saw with my own 2 eyes. It was actually kind of funny.
31 July, it goes away.
Well, usually you drink it all first, so it wouldn't be alcohol abuse when it's an empty beer bottle.
I was shocked because first off, they're making beer in really cheap glass nowadays because they threw the 40 against the cop car and it shattered. And I was like, is there liquid coming out of that? I was an alcoholic. So to me, wasting liquid it's a sin, you know?
Exactly. Alcohol abuse.
I sometimes like I live in the suburbs. That's why when I describe LA, I feel like people don't realize that Los Angeles is like a different planet.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've been to New York. I've been in Minneapolis. I've been a lot of places, and they're just like LA. Honest, just like Colorado too is ghetto. You can get beat up in Colorado.
Yeah, downtown Denver or on Colfax is just like every other big city.
Yeah.
The only place that tripped me the heck out was Oakland, California, because there were so many prostitutes on the streets when we went downtown at like 9 p.m. or like 10 to go get cigarettes. I couldn't believe how many prostitutes were running the track.
Oh, Oakland is lit.
And the only time I ever saw a cop car on cinder blocks was in Oakland. I literally saw a cop car that was stripped down on cinder blocks in Oakland.
People don't fuck around up there, man. They tell people from LA, don't go to Oakland.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking surprised. And the event we were at was in a big warehouse. And in the middle of my set, a girl walks up to me while I'm on stage and asks me if I want LSD. I'm like, honey, can you wait till I'm like off stage? Like I'm literally in the middle of my show and I'm getting offered drugs.
That kind of happened to San Francisco's like that too.
Yeah,
Like someone will just randomly walk up to you and be like, hey man, do you want some acid? And I'm like, do you know we're in public? Are you a cop? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and you're like, there's a cop standing right there. Like literally, seriously, it was crazy. So many drugs when I was doing shows there. And the wonderful thing was, when I got to that venue, I told the people, like, I don't have any pot. Like, I'm a major pothead. I use it for my medical conditions. I asked the dude who was owning or running it, I'm like, hey, bro, I need a little bit of pot. Can you throw me like a bowl or two? Dude pulls out a freaking jar, an ounce jar of weed and goes, here you go. So for 2 weeks, I was just, while I was on tour, I was just smoking this weed this dude gave me. I was like, this is awesome. I don't have to pay for weed. I don't have to look for it. He just gave it to me the first night we were there.
Bye, Jyuni.
He gave you the whole jar?
Yeah, he just gave me an ounce jar of weed that he had grown. He was just like, oh, here, this is extra crap. He's like, this is the crap stuff I have. I'm like, okay, thanks.
People are not that nice around here. How about where you live, Jenny? Are people that nice where you live?
I've been offered pot numerous times up around here. It's all from young people. I haven't taken any. I've chosen not to smoke. I think I've sworn off of it, but who knows?
In your because like when I one of the reasons I quit smoking nicotine is because my lungs couldn't take it. Pot is less harsh.
Well,
but it's just as deadly.
With my cardiac history makes me not want to risk it anymore.
There are so many ways.
My heartbeat goes a little crazy if I smoke pot, and that's just not safe for me right now.
Because when I hear you breathing, you sound like me. So I identify with you, Jenny.
Nowadays, there's so many ways to intake THC or CBD or other things as well. So there's ointments and then edibles or salves, other things. So you don't have to like smoke it. But I do understand like if you just have a negative response to it, the THC or whatever.
I've smoked plenty. I started in 1971, so I've had lots of time to play with it and know what it's like, and it's just over with. That's all.
Next time you see that, Jenny, you have to say, "You rookies! I started in 1971. I've dropped more drugs than you've done in your life."
Well, that's actually true of almost anybody else.
Someone said that to me a long time ago, and I was like, "I bet you have." They're like, "Kid, I've dropped more drugs than you've ever done."
Yeah,
with me.
We had that as a joke as well because we were selling drugs for different mafias and stuff, and every once in a while somebody'd be like, "I'm this badass," and I'm like, "Man, I've lost more drugs than freaking you've done."
Yeah, exactly. Hey, will you open that door and hand me the t-shirt box with all the big patches in it? It's under the
Oh,
fabric.
look at the og thing. I found the og thing on the egg thing.
I have my emotional support hedgehog on my desk now. I've rearranged everything in here. My light bill is going to be out of control, but it's awesome in here.
Oh, Lord, I haven't heard that term in a very, very long time.
What's that?
Light bill.
What term? I missed that.
Light bill.
Light bill.
Yeah, it's back when you used electricity basically for lighting, and that was it. And
my parents were 40-something years older than me, so I was raised by. I always jokingly say I was raised by adults.
There you go. Well, the slimy bastards were 33 when they brought me home from the baby store. So yeah, I kind of get where you are with that one.
I have a brother who's a year older than Godless Granny.
Okay.
Oh, she was on our side chat yesterday with Cookie. It was fun.
Oh my.
Yesterday we went over
how just in my lifetime, the usage of electricity has expanded so much, just from plain old lighting to everything, really.
Oh yeah. Even like with solar and everything, like every other person in my neighborhood has a Tesla backup battery.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And just the innovation in that technology just in the past 5 years is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember when police used to have these huge lights on top of their cars, and now they got these little itty bitty little LED things all over? I mean,
man, I have a 6 cell, good old flashlight therapy. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Yay, Magnolites.
That's what I used to give to my security.
Come in my garage.
There you go. I like it. No, I can remember, thinking I would love to have a computer. Oh, what a pipe dream! But I don't have $100,000, and it would take up an entire floor of a building and all that stuff. Now, I have 5 computers in here, and I've got a simple 500 square foot apartment.
Don't burn the house down. Have fun, man. Make some lunch.
Okay, so I found my bank statement from last time around.
Godless parenting. Don't burn the house down.
If I had 5 computers running in my house, I'd be producing a lot of porn. Never mind.
Well, only 2 of them are running right now.
Oh,
There's the one that we're talking on right now. There's my broadcast machine that I'm backing up. And then I have 3 laptops.
See, the problem with modern porn is that you have to build an audience. Back in the day, you'd go work for a company and instantly get paid and have an audience.
Yes, I know, honey. I've been in the industry my whole life.
No, I know. I'm singing soprano in the choir, but this is more me whining. Because back in the day, you can go work for Vivid and get paid, and like now it's like there's people with their webcam in Iowa getting more money than I ever could.
Yeah, there you go.
And the other thing is you have to have like
webcams in Iowa. How you doing, Doc?
We love you, Doc. Ooh,
yeah,
Doc,
and
I have a proposition for you in a webcam.
Ooh, kinky. Yeah, and the other thing is back in the day you could just do normal porn and make money. And now you have to like have a kink or a niche, or you have to like be like putting things in certain places, or doing weird things. So it's not as easy as it used to be.
There you go.
I have a good friend who taught me. I always jokingly say she taught me everything I know. She took me to the AVNs twice. Like she's what I would consider a professional, and she got famous. And even she became a dominatrix. I like that. She became a dominatrix because they're so like she got offended because they called her a MILF at 35. And this was a while ago, but now she made more money being a dominatrix because the fetish, people pay more for the fetish stuff.
Yeah.
And lonely dudes want to get beaten by women. So, I mean, it's a thing, you make more money doing it kind of, let's just not say that, but I mean, female doms are making way more money for sure.
I don't understand that stuff, but
Thank you. I'm not king shaming, but I'm going to show my age for a minute. But again, I've never had a problem. I always say getting somebody is easy. Keeping them is rocket science. But
remember, kids, if you're going to go into porn and kink, start small and then you have to go bigger eventually. So if you're going to start a kink, make sure you do it a little bit and then you're going to have to get bigger.
Yeah,
you don't want to start huge first.
And you can't be a one-trick pony either. And everyone's seen the Donkey Show. Everyone.
Yep, I ran a club in Tijuana, Mexico. Yep, seen the Donkey Show.
Was it like off Tijuana or was it on Revolution Boulevard?
It was 90 steps away from the border. So literally, the first right you could take, it was that square of establishments. So we were really close to the border, and we were like a quarter mile away from Revolution.
I've probably walked in that club. I had to get my face for that one. I've probably walked in there before.
So in 2001 is when we had our club. So if you were in TJ in 2001, you probably were in our establishment at some point.
That's so crazy. I think I actually was because a bunch of crazy stuff happened, but I lived in Mexico for almost 8 or 9 months. And yeah, when I walked into TJ, I literally walked into a bar right over the border.
Okay, so if you went upstairs and were in a hot pink nightclub with a stripper pole in the middle, that was our nightclub. So if you remember a hot pink stripper pole, and definitely remember the stripper pole, because what I did every night at midnight is I would get up and I would dance around the stripper pole, and then all of the people in the club would end up getting in a line and dancing on the pole. So
did you say hot pink?
Yeah, it was a hot pink because the club before us was called...
I worked there.
I knew it. Yes, I remember hiring you. No, because the club before us was a strip club called the Pink Pussycat in Spanish, and I don't remember, or obviously something gata or gato, but it was that, and we didn't change. We didn't change the inside, so we just put on a rave club inside of that place, and so every night we had people stripping on our pole.
I have probably frequented that establishment and imbibed on some of the.
Yeah.
Sorry to do this, folks, but I'm just not feeling very well. I'm gonna have to wrap this up here.
All right, can I just say something to the chat? You folks, in about about 40 minutes, take a look at your clock and count down, because it'll be 2:22:22 on 0222. 02:22 2022. And then you can do it all over again tonight at about 10 o'clock, 22 after 10 o'clock, because 2200 hour.
Yep.
Okay, well, I hope you feel better.
Yeah. So let's just do a quick thing here. If anyone has anything they need to plug before we go.
Okay. Well, I still have to edit a transgender chef episode, so I hope I'll have it to shut up. Oh my, no, I'll see about editing a transgender chef episode and hopefully having it ready for tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Okay, cool.
Slim, did you have anything?
If anybody's interested, go to my channel and watch yesterday's Cookie Mix Sweet Tits butt stuff stream, where we talked about contraceptives and safe sex. And it was hilarious. Vila put condoms on cucumbers and made them work and not work. It was really funny. So thank you all very much.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
caught
Purple, for
part of
having me
that
on.
while you were talking about the condoms.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that.
So, thank you all very much, and thank you, Purple, for having me on. We'll see you next time.
Sure. Okay, Will, you got anything you want to plug?
I'm Godless Sewing. Coming to the Godless Sewing channel right now. I have a video out about a 1950s Singer sewing machine that I Frankensteined and put the motor on. Come on down, like Rod Roddy used to say on The Price is Right.
Those were the days.
I miss those days.
Okay,
Godless
well then I
Sewing, Godless
just
Sewing.
need to thank my Patreon subscribers.
Oh,
Ex of the Utah Outcast.
don't I get a sign off?
Oh, yep.
That was still content before. Bye everybody. Wish me luck on my date tonight.
Oh boy.
Good luck on that.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be great for you.
Meow.
Okay, I just need to thank my Patreon subscribers. X, Vonrick, Jyuni, Ox, Robert X, the Lavender Lady, Greg
Who the hell
Hertwick,
is that?
and Dog. I appreciate all of you, helping me keep things going. And appreciate you guys, running the moderators in the side chats and knocking the bots down for us.
Bot killers.
So, with that,
Oh, there meets the eye.
we'll be back here tomorrow night at 10. So we'll see you all then. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, Bon.
Rock
Bye
out.
bye bye
Rock
bye
out.
chat.